currently behind in the rankings when you think of it that way, but we're going to take a look at Tempest, the new reformed Tempest. Check out this interview.
맡고 있는 하이드라고 합니다.
올라운더 역할 맡고 있는 락다운이라고 합니다.
이번에 템페스트로 이적하게 된 홍코노입니다.
모던 라이프 선수와 덕석 선수가 나가고 홍코노 선수와 해파리 선수가 들어오게 되었는데 좀 더 이제 공격적인 모습으로 다시 돌아올 것 같습니다. 홍코노 선수는 이제 작년에 같이 했었던 선수라서 딱히 얘기할 게 없을 것 같고 해파리 선수는 잘한다고 생각했는데 이번에 같이 하게 돼서 좀 많이 기쁘네요.
저와 해파리가 들어오면서 공격적인 부분이 엄청 강해졌고 어떻게 보면 틈이 되게 많지만 이거 잘 메꾸면 더 강한 팀이 된 것 같아요.
템페스트라는 팀 자체가 이제 선수들이 전부 다 올라운더 성향을 좀 많이 띠고 있기 때문에 그런 유동적인 부분은 장점이 될 수 있다고 생각합니다.
저는 제가 이제 인터뷰할 때 우승 못하면 자른다고 알고 있었고 또 새로운 각오 그런 느낌도 있었고 게임하는데 지장이 있는 것 같아서 그쪽으로 자꾸 신경이 쓰이니까 그래서 자르게 된 것 같아요. 이스턴 클래시 진출하는 것과 블리즈컨 진출하는 게 목표입니다. 최대한 많은 경기 할 수 있게 열심히 해보겠습니다.
좀 더 열심히 노력하고 강력한 모습으로 최선을 다해서 우승할 수 있도록 노력하겠습니다.
항상 저희 팀을 응원해주시는 팬들 여러분께 많은 감사의 말씀 전하고 싶고 이번 시즌도 더 재밌는 경기 보여드리도록 노력 많이 하겠습니다.
There you have it. It is Tempest, the new reformed Tempest. They brought Honkono back. They've got H82 and already looked good in their opening match against Blossom. Taking such a very dominant win in game number 2 that Blossom, I feel like, lost their minds at a weak draft for game number 3. This was just yesterday. This will be the second games played with this roster for Tempest. H82 with the whole competitive experience of playing on Raven all last season. And he was definitely the star player of the team, the only player that really stood out to anybody, including the Korean commentators, analysts, and the Korean fans, as you guys watched all season. But now he's moved into Tempest. So Raven, they got Darvish, but I feel like this is definitely a positive exchange for Tempest.
Yeah, and also from the last match, the key player, of course, we had Hyde up on the interview, but key player is Sign. It's how well the front line, the Warrior, has adopted into Nubarak. The use and the understanding of a Nubarak, that changes everything right now in this meta. And Sign seems to be about as perfect as it gets on the Nubarak right now.
We saw the Diva coming in as well against Kerrigan on Infernal Shrine, so mitigated a lot of the damage, some really good self-destruct usage as well from this player. So definitely the favorites tonight, even more so than they were against Blossom, but Raven will show their colors a little bit tonight. Speaking of showing their colors, let's take a look at this team with their opening interview, see what they're feeling about phase number 2 here for HGC Korea.
안녕하세요. 이번에 새롭게 레이븐으로 합류하게 된 다르디시 민성민입니다.
레이븐 팀의 지원가를 맡고 있는 조주라고 하는데 아이디를 바꿨거든요? 촘으로 바꿨어요. 제가 좋아하는 애니메이션에 나오는 애완동물 또 이름이거든요. 그래서 제가 좋아하는 캐릭터의 애완동물이 되고 싶어서 촘으로 바꿨습니다. 좋게 지켜봐주시면 감사하겠습니다. 근접 딜러 포지션을 맡고 있는 해파리 선수가 일단 템페스트로 이적하게 됐고 저희 팀에 이제 서브 딜러로 다르비시 선수가 새로 들어오게 됐습니다.
지원가를 하다 보면서 좀 안 맞는 옷을 입고 있다는 걸 알게 됐어요. 그렇게 되면서 이번에는 앞라인이 아닌 뒷라인으로 다시 가게 됐어요.
저희 팀 전부 다 공격적이었거든요. 다르비시 선수는 수비적인 그런 성향을 갖고 있어서 이제 밸런스가 굉장히 잘 맞춰진 새로운 레이븐을 보실 수 있을 겁니다.
제가 들어오게 되면서 팀원들이랑 어색할까 봐 팀원들 이렇게 통솔하면서 좀 친해지라고 떠넘겼어요. 귀찮은 거 하기 싫다고.
메인 딜러였던 하멜린 선수가 지금은 서브 탱커로 바꿨거든요. 하멜린 선수가 굉장히 공격적이었는데 더 공격적이게 할 수 있게 더 날카로운 칼을 쥐어준 느낌이랄까?
이걸 레이븐이 이겼어요.
당연히 우승이죠. 네, 우승하면 좋죠. 우승하면 좋죠. 네.
레이븐을 응원해주시는 팬분들이 많으셔가지고 재밌는 경기력으로 보답드릴 수 있게 노력하겠습니다.
저희 팀 저번 시즌에 안 좋은 모습 많이 보여드렸는데 싹 다 잊어주시고 우승 후보답게 우승을 향해 끝까지 달려가 보도록 하겠습니다. 레이븐 화이팅!
massive underdogs in this series. Raven in good spirits in their interview and in good spirits in the booth here, as you can see. So excited to see if they bring some unusual drafts, as we saw the weird, unusual Asmodan pick with Varian. Totally failed on Cursed Hollow, but they're willing to try it out. I don't know if we'll see more of that this season or not.
Yep, and Joju changes IGN into Chom. That's how we will be calling him from now on, I guess. And Darvish making the flex position into the team. He's been filling the holes, as we mentioned last time. And DeYoung really stepping up, as you mentioned last cast. He's been very solid in the front line, just like Sign from the other side. But when you're going up against a stronger team, that's when the real test begins.
Yeah. So, you know, when you got anime characters and waifus to respect, you got to change your ID. So you see the Chom coming in here. Just had a reference. You reminded me, actually, while we had that interview coming up, that he wore the anime shirt at the Crucible finals where he did his final interview there. So we'll see if this ID change works well for him. I feel like he played pretty solid last season. Hamlin, of course, making the swap into these sub-tankers. The Tyrael coming in, playing Genji and Illidan, so a decent hero pool already in the 3 games played. Fortunately, the Illidan not doing as well for him as he would have liked. So we're going to jump into our maps here in just a moment, but can Raven do what seems impossible here to repeat their performance against Tempest? Anyone who goes back and watches that series they played against Tempest at the end of the season will definitely question Tempest's motivation and dedication to the best of 5 there. It was definitely not their best performance ever, but still, Raven has that win over Tempest. If they win this one, they'll be up 2-1 in a best of 3 against them if you extend the series out. Here are our map bans and picks, though.
There goes Towers of Doom. Actually banned from Tempest, and Dragon Char is banned again from Raven. Raven seems to be very little afraid against the big maps where the rotation, the big macro play matters the most. And first map is going to be BOE, Battlefield of Eternity. Both StarCraft maps are open, and Raven was one of the only teams that actually preferred to choose map when they could actually choose first ban instead.
Well, with Towers of Doom going to be the first map here, I feel like this is definitely a map that sets the pace for the best of 5. So the drafting is going to be really important, and this is going to be Raven with first pick. So we'll see if they can find a way to draft against Tempest here on game number 1 to at least get an edge on BOE. They can't do that. I'm worried for them in this best of 5, but it's still early on as we move into this first map. So we saw earlier the D.Va performance on this map that was really sick. Tempest has already shown 1 game of Signs D.Va. It was on Infernal Shrines. So you see the Uther ban come out.
Uther removed already. And I would actually like to see just let's just remove top tier supports and let's compete against the best then. Leave everything open and remove the supports and go down to second tier support and have your best team composition that you can make out of all. I think that's also an okay, but of course the safer ban is the Nubara coming out from Raven.
Insta-locking Genji here. This was the highest prioritized DPS for Tempest in their series against Blossom, and also highest removed against them. Well, I should say the only chance that they had to remove it immediately was taken away from them by Blossom in the 3rd set. They struggled with it in the first 2 series. In the last series, Tempest had 2nd pick all 3 games as they were unlucky in the coin toss and then ended up winning the series 3-0. So the first game of them this season where we see them have the first pick, and Genji is what they prioritize. No surprise, but the Stitches Malfurions coming out. Yeah, it's gonna be the end of season 1 feels here with this combo. Something that Raven used against Tempest in that very series.
That's right, and already have a very steady CC with the hook. And this is the map where the racing for the Immortals matter a lot. Let's see if H82 goes back to his favorite Artanis. I want to see as H82 being on Artanis, going against his previous team. That's a hype coming out for you.
That would be sick. I don't think we'll see it, but you mentioned it yesterday when they had them play. They didn't play it, but it'd be exciting to see it if we do. Vala is something to consider here with Ariel, of course, still available. Tassadar as well. On this map, we've seen so many Q Valas. We didn't see that when it was being played just earlier by Mighty. It's going to be Li Ming, though, that they prioritize with the Tyrael or protection. Tyrael obviously great to block hooks because he can simply Eldruins away once hooked. So a strong frontliner here with the escape. So Raven on their ban phase could look to choke supports if they want to ban away the Grey main. That's something that could be possible here as well. But already with Genji here, I think you're probably looking at the Rhaegar ban. Maybe an Arthas ban as well, if you want to run a melee and do a secondary support. HA2 has already shown that he can play the Genji, so if they want to do triple DPS, it's not out of the question.
Of course, support choke, it seems okay, because there are lots of other options though. Rhaegar, Kharazim seems alright. To heal the front lines though, I think Palm's gonna do a lot more, so banning the Kharazim if you have to ban the support. You can also go around and ban the front liners. Udubar already out. Tyrael seems very weak in the front line, so removing all that. And we just saw D.Va play the last series, so that was a great option there.
Not the exact same composition that we saw before, but still a reasonable ban as she can sit there on the Immortal while they 4-man push the bot lane. Not what I expected to see, but still a wise ban. Not the most standard. Still leaving both supports available here for Tempest. Rhaegar very good on this map because of his Lightning Bond and his ability to Ancestral Tyrael back up to full health to allow that fight and the peel to continue.
Seems like double Uther ban, it's Grey main, as you can see. Sometimes you get confused and end up not picking a support or something happens like that, so make sure you know which one is which. Left one is Uther,
yeah.
Right one is Grey main, of course.
That's right. Their Grey main is a little bit like older, crazier Uther. Raven doesn't have many options in DPS. Tychus is going to be the best one they could think of. Arthas might have been banned in the second ban phase. Makes it through.
Double root coming out after the hook. That will be connecting with all the damage coming out from Tychus minigun, the percent damage, all the auto attack. So maybe Tempest, they can still think about something that can blind Cassia. That's going to provide a lot more poke. Also can Fan coming in when Genji also diving in at the same time. They can literally create a dive comp to go in to take out targets. I think that's also an okay option. If they want to go around and go for the tankier line, Johanna is also okay. But this time it's Leoric instead.
Leoric coming up pretty early here. So, or not, sorry, not or early. It's pretty unusual. Like, against the Stitches and Arthas, you can see why he would be picked because of his extra heals that he's going to get, and his Drain Hope is kind of a soft counter to the tanks when they don't have Tychus, and Greymane is banned, of course. It's a good opportunity to break through and can trap some of the targets here. Stitches with no escape, Malfurion no escape till later on when he gets Ice Block and then Bolt of the Storm. So the Entomb possibilities are definitely really good here when you have these DPSs on Raven that just don't have ways to get out. The big question is, what's the second DPS going to be? You might have said Nazebo on a different map, but on this one, I don't know, man.
Maybe even Kel'Thas. We saw lots of pair-ups with Stitches. I think that's also a very good niche pick at the very end. We saw
Hammer, maybe? No, I don't think so.
I think they need a mage, though. Abathur instead. Whoa.
I don't like Abathur with this composition. Not going to see the fancy fly-in Zeratul here.
Double hooks.
Double hooks, yeah.
That's the way.
I
but which
don't know
one,
if you're
though?
serious or not.
No,
but
I'm not serious on that, but please.
All right. Well, we're going to have at least the Pajamathur skin. You locked it in at the last second. An unusual way to seal this draft out. Going to give you a little bit more DPS, I suppose, more attack speed for Tychus, but not going to have the same impact with this draft as it did with the last draft. We saw it on Towers of Doom. Let's go into Battlefield of Eternity to see if Raven can make this unusual draft work here in game number 1. In blue, Team Tempest, the favorites of this best of 5, put Honkono on Genji, Hyde on Karzim, H82 on Leoric, Sign on Tyrael, and Lockdown on Li Ming.
And in red, Raven, Darvish on Avatar, Hamlin on Arthurs, Animax and Tychus, DeYoung on Stitches, and Chom on Malfurion.
So on this 2-lane map, one of the big benefits you can gain from Abathur is to have the extra vision in the center of the map, as we're going to have this level 1 push massively in favor of Tempest. The Abathur symbiote here buying some time, but oh, look at the rotation up here for Raven. It's so late. You see the Howling Blast gets the double connect, but it's still not enough to find anything here as Sign scouts out the rotation, dismounts all 3 members. Actually, Animax is still on his cloud, but gets a double dismount, stops them from rotating over, so they get a massive lead just from that level 1 push alone. But anyway, the vision that Abathur's Toxic Nest will provide throughout this game are going to be nice. We'll add some extra DPS there in that way. He's already building into a symbiote here at level 1. But usually when you think of Abathur, you think of mobile melee assassins. Like the Illidan, sometimes the Chen, at least is very mobile, very tanky. The Greymane you've seen at Zeratul. But with this composition, none of the heroes really fit the bill. Not even really the Arthas. Lockdown gets dove upon here. They're looking for these early ganks with the symbiote, giving the extra protection as he solo lanes, but he's going to get picked off and bot. Look at this on the minimap. You can see it. Does he get away? It looks like he just barely does.
Barely, yes.
He was almost killed.
And also, it seemed like Genji was almost killed too. Lower than half HP there. We'll never know what happened down there, but Avatar lived at the end of the day. Seems like they're looking for those dive-ins to get the kill onto Avatar. There's a hook and the follow-up, but not the double follow-up because Arthur's already used the Howling Blast before.
Avatar's all the way back on the keep right now. Genji on the other side can harass. There's no ammo left on these cannon towers. Honkono could actually have, potentially continued to harass there. Does find his way up to the top lane now. And we're going to see a slow rotation down for Raven, but there's no ammo on those cannon towers. They're rotating down a bit slow, so this might not even be punished here. H82 has the Wraithwalk. The hook is unfortunately onto a Genji, and the slow rotation down means they lose the entire wall. No ammo on those cannon towers. They were focused so much on the top, almost lost Abathur down in the bot lane. And now Tempest is going to rotate over here to take away half of the health of this Immortal already here with a nearly 100% first half time.
Good trust coming out from Chom, but hook's not really landing on time. The only time that mattered, Genji using the Cyber Agility, and Dash just escaped easily off of that. Did not get really rooted. I guess the root came right after the Cyber Agility. If Raven can get picks from the beginning, their entire comp, what the entire comp is made out for, it's not really working out. Tempest will have the upper hand when it comes to the Immortal here.
Look at Science positioning. He's doing so much extra damage even with his smite, I should say. Hyde, though, definitely should not have been paired with him there. Perhaps they thought they were going to get some extra picks. Either way, the big picture, despite the death there on Hyde in First Blood going over to Raven, is the Immortal is about 98% shielded here. So, I mean, this is as good as it gets, as H82 is just forcing his way in here in the solo lane to get the extra EXP as they set up for the top push. Hook is, the Howling Blast is real, not the hook. The root is good on to H82, but everyone's going to get out safely. And this Immortal is just going to have so many ranged attacks here.
Was that just the hook onto the Immortal? I thought I heard the sound, but I guess not. Well, this Immortal is already working on the fort. Fort almost going down. Avatar is trying to help onto the fort, trying to clear the wave, but just not in time. Fort does not go down actually at the end. I can't even see the HP.
I think he's going to out-Druins it or something though. Smites it. It's the safer option, so he still has the escape, as you guys can see. will clear it up. And H82 is going to lose his life down here in the bot lane because of the Abathur symbiote. We'll be able to respawn pretty quickly, so another kill for Raven. And perhaps a bit of an overextension from H82, but anyways, more importantly, they got that fort. Nice win though for Raven, some extra EXP, keeping it a little bit more even this way. The 4-man rotation down again though, and Abathur just isn't able to get value top like this.
And another kill onto Leoric right after the spawn. I guess it's Leoric, so it doesn't matter as much, but and also caused Arthur to actually go hard back home because he took a lot of HP out, and he has to come on top now, checking onto the camp. That seems a little bit too late, and it is late. Tempest will succeed the neutral camp on top.
Sick Aldruins here from Sign. He already used it to scout. Now we see the come around and try to escape. Hearth's home. Raven doesn't realize his positioning. They don't get the punish play off. So they get this camp. Next Immortal phase is going to be pretty huge though. Could guarantee Tempest 10 if they can get the Immortal and then push down that second keep. Looking at the builds here in this game, it's actually a pretty heavy commitment to the Wraithwalk form for H82. Which is ironic considering he's died 3 times despite upgrading it.
And also Drain upgrade at 1,
Yep.
2.
Oh, this is not a good spot.
Though.
Yeah, this is not a good spot for DeYoung to be. Huge orb hits onto Hamlin. They're not done with this yet either. I don't think NMX is getting home. He's got the slow there. Onkono gets the reset. Doesn't want to dive any deeper into a possible Howling Blast, but now they have the 5-man versus 3 advantage, really 2, considering Abathur doesn't really have much value in this situation. And this may be, yet again, another nearly full health Immortal going down the lane.
Yep, this Immortal will do so much, and Raven still, without Tychus, they barely have no poke at all. Even one grenade, and Tychus with that range nerf makes him put into a lot more dangerous situation, into a dangerous positioning because of the range, and hooking Genji will not help at all.
Deflect mitigates all the damage. Maybe they get the pick onto H82, but even if they do, this is a full shield
Grenade?
Immortal. They don't even get it. Don't even get it. Full shields Immortal, 100% to 0. Abathur's going to have to swap positions here in a moment as well, or he's going to find himself DED dead. 7 minutes in the game, 2 Immortals, 10 on the horizon. And G-Clef, this just is worrisome. This draft, even with the first pick for Raven, doesn't feel like it has much synergy with the Abathur play. It's definitely not doing them any favors. This is already out of ammo from the early game we talked about. So this is going to be a keep wall push, and Hamlin already caught in the front lines. Honkoto dives in. They've got 10 now. No Dragon Blade commitment. Looking for maybe the Judgment and March of the Black King.
March is the way, man, for Leoric. That's the way to go. If you have everything together, March with the Dragon Blade, think about the possible damage that's going to come out in that March.
Just the Judgment into March into Dragon Blade. Palm, just because H82 has been getting a little bit antsy, maybe. So 7-side would be really good in this situation. Here comes the Judgment in. Here's the target. The Dragon Blade goes over. Disintegrate comes down. Resets here for Lockdown. He's got the second Disintegrate, doing maximum amount of damage. Good palm ignore here for most of the fight, but actually the turret can't ignore it. This is going to be the keep that procs it there in the end. They're going to kill onto Genji, and this is going to be a retreat now for Tempest.
H82 does have Entomb, and it seems like he doesn't even need to use it. There's the last one to catch the last member of Raven. Already respawned though.
B-Steps coming in.
He knows he's not going to live throughout that anyhow, so.
Spray's coming in too. The fight went long enough with the re-engage for Chom to respawn. I guess it's not really a full team white, as Abathur is just chilling in mid, not even in the top lane really. So, gonna be the neutral cap, take it down here in bot.
Lost my words there after.
Yeah.
Though they got 4 kills onto Leoric, they did catch a lot of the EXP because they got the kills, but having all those CCs now, the damage is, the mechanical fight is just so different between these two teams. It looks very hard for Raven, and Hook's really not connecting other than Genji.
Well, almost got the hook there, but, you know, Wraithwalk's pretty good. So we didn't get to see the March of the Black King with the Dragon Blade, sadly. Just not, if it was like we had a Zagara and you had the March of the Black King and the Dragon Blade, that would be super sick. Disintegrate too, but I guess Judgment just isn't enough to make it worth it. We saw the Entomb value already. So the next Immortal phase is going to be up in 10. We'll see if Raven can get more than 2% of the shields down this time. It's definitely been a hard first game for them with the draft that they have chosen.
Now they are a full level down, talent level down also. Because of Judgment on the other side, if NMX oversteps his line by 1, I think they will all come in. I think Chom has to use the perfect Twilight Dream to get some kills here.
Gonna have to be perfect, as you said. He doesn't have his Ice Block yet either, so he could find himself being the first target for the Judgment as well. The commemorative lockdown in here. There it is, onto Chom immediately. The Judgment's there. The Dragon Blade coming out here. The clone here is actually onto Arthas, as we predicted. Does get the Howling Blast here. Finally will lock down Genji to get the kill. Though this looks like it might just eventually become a wipe, as Raven just doesn't have the sustained damage to deal with this anymore. The clone is down, and Deong is going to be the last to fall.
Deong says, I just want to play though. He's gone. Ouch. And at least Avatar still lives.
Avatar still lives. The clone was not so lucky. This is going to be the full shielded Immortal yet again here for Tempest, it looks like. Halftime will begin. Short death timers, actually, so maybe they get a little bit done, like 1.2% or something. We'll see. 13's up for them too, so they'll finally get Ice Block from Malfurion. So in 15 seconds when Judgment is back up, at least Chom will be able to dodge this time. As we look for this rotation in, they're just going to sit there defensively. Tempest knows that the death timers are short. And they're just going to take this cap to then go in and contest the Immortals. The Raven's just sitting there defensive right now, not doing any pick damage whatsoever at what Tempest has to the top side with their Immortal. Hook here onto Karzim. The follow-up route is good for Chom this time. Silence is there, but Hyde gets the defensive palm just before. And that's going to be the kill into Deong with the Judgment. Here's the dive.
NMX cannot contest this. Right in the middle of all the damage gets taken out right after. Here comes Liming lockdown. Resets happening all over. Darvish is in the middle again. Oh my goodness.
Chom will be able to get out. I think he still has Ice Block, but doesn't want to use it if possible. Shuriken Mastery is completed with all the damage he's been able to do this game. This is going to be a keep. Don't forget, as I know someone out there did, and I even did for a moment, the Immortal is still there. You can always just casually walk over and take it full shields. Abathur's going to split push here. If they find him, which is, there's a small likelihood of this, then that could be another pick.
That palm though from Hyde, right before the Twilight Dream, right before the silence, he saved himself one. Hyde, the god on Karazim here.
But now they're going to have the majority of the heroics back available as well. Full shielded Immortal coming in. Raven comes in the middle to contest here. Abathur's already gone back home. Catapult pressure is going to start mounting here very soon. Immortal is going to go directly to the keep wall. Looks like they want a hard engage. Sign comes in the back, immediately forcing Chom to use that Ice Block. The Judgment comes in, doesn't protect H82 here. He's the first to go down, but the damage is real coming out from Lockdown, who just sits there. Max disintegrates, not canceling them because he's in such good position. He's able to do free damage. He always uses the maximum duration of disintegrate, then uses it again. The B-steps are real. This is going to be
the old miracle too. Honkono and Darvish. And that's going to be, looks like that's going to be close to the game, even keep. And to the core. Wow, it's perfect coming in. Notice how H82 was a bait. The entire team of Raven went for Leoric only and entombed at the last moment. And all the damage came in, AoE with the Judgment, Dragon Blade. Just,
well, he's going to bait again. Will barely escape for the time being. The Howling Blast gets him. Look at the 3-mana Tomb, though. Palm actually saves him. Silence is used here, but only hits 2. Judgment not available until 10 more seconds. Can they get any more picks here? H82 finally is the only one to go down. Hamlin will be the last to fall. Abathur's in the middle of the map, so he's safe for now, I suppose. But 22 kills to 7. Pretty dominant game number 1 here for Tempest. Not as clean as they would have liked, you could argue, but I feel like they played with their food a little bit. That's GG. Game number 1 on the side of Tempest.
Yep, that's what happens if you go against Tempest. And picking Avather at the end, that was very confusing, questionable pick at the end. Where this map, the global does not matter as much, and you can't really pressure all the other lanes since because of 2-lane map, and the use of Avather was very off, I think, from Darvish. Cloning, I was literally really thinking maybe double hook could have been better.